Hello and good morning. My name is Margaret Pinard. Welcome to my channel. You are on Booktube. And here on my channel, I usually talk about book reviews, book tags, readathons, AuthorTube, and because that doesn't really fill out my twice a week, Wednesday and Friday stream schedule, I try to throw in one or two creative ideas about current topics or deep dives. Today, I'm combining a whole bunch of ideas. Today, I'm divulging everything. So if you look at the thumbnail, there's lots of trends. And the thing is, I stream twice a week, but the tags and the sort of trending topics that roll around, I have a big delay before I respond to those because I'm a thinker. I'm a Taurus. I like to sit on things. I take a long time deciding. And so I never am able to participate in the discussion. It's already months past and has possibly come back around by the time I'm ready to pronounce upon it. So today we're going to dive into six different trends that I've noted through the months and just respond to them with the obvious answers as far as I'm concerned. So with that said, if you've got questions as we go along, pop them in the chat. I'll be happy to include. If you're watching this on the replay, I answer every comment. So feel free to leave a comment. I will definitely be looking at it as I log in every day here. So let's start off with saying hello to the chat. We've got a cat paw. Good morning. Good morning. And I have a question of the day. This is what I thought. I've got 5 on the thumbnail, and I've got 6 on my list. There's going to be too many words. There's probably already too many words. But maybe I've missed one, and you have it. And I think Catpaw has it right after this comment. But question of the day, what is Booktube's most evergreen trending topic to you? What is the most viral headline grabby thing that you see people put up pretty consistently? I've tried to address these today, so we'll see if I get very far. And there it is. The I'm quitting Booktube must be the algorithm. Changes? No, I don't think it's because of the algorithm change. I think it's because it's a headline that grabs attention. Catpaw also saying, or I've been on Booktube for a year and I have less than 200 subs. Bye. I'm leaving Booktube. Same flavor. Okay, I haven't done one of those. Hi, Julie. Welcome. Good morning. Julie's answer, the books you must read. Leave me alone and let me read what I want to read. I hope I understood the question. Yeah. Must read. Top 5 favorite of the year, however you want to, genre or whatever. Yeah, those are also grabby headlines. So, okay. So the first one I'm going to tackle is, I'm going to remember my banners this time. No, stop doing the timer. Oh my God. Off. I do one thing wrong and it messes me up. Read more books. Read more books is at the top of the list. Several people in the last few weeks have come out with how to read more books. How do I read so many books? Read more books in your life. Imperative, interrogatory, declarative, however you're going to phrase it. People on Booktube, I mean, that makes sense, right? You want to read more books in the little bit of time that you have left on this earth. So I've got 4 fail-safe ways to address this. Just stop watching TV. Stop watching TV. I don't watch TV very much. Delete doom scroll apps. I do doom scroll, so I could follow that advice, but I don't. Listen to audiobooks when your eyes can't focus. So if you can't read a book anymore for a number of reasons, you can listen to audiobooks and thereby get more reading done because audiobooks are reading. And the last one, quit your job. Quit your job. Where are your priorities? Obviously, this is a little satirical, but I don't do any of these. So I'm just following the trend of giving advice that I don't necessarily follow myself all the time. But I do read a lot of books. I read about 145 books a year. And that's not like the high flyers of booktube level, but it is a lot, and I enjoy most of them. My ratings are like 4 stars, so I think I'm happy with the amount of books that I'm reading. And of course, you know, we're never going to read as many books as we want, but why is this such an evergreen topic? Why can't people confront the fact that they're prioritizing something else? They want to do this, but their actions say that they want to do something else more. What do you think? And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. What do we think? Cat Paw seconding the you must read. Yeah, must anything is a hard pass, right? Because the shoulds. Don't should all over yourself. Elaine is here. Hello, hello, Cobalt Dragon. I will be on Elaine's channel this Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific. We're going to talk about another group book tag, the Big 6-0, which I think has 8 prompts. And they're very hard. They're very hard to answer. I don't know if you're having trouble with those, Elaine, but it's fun. We have a Ray here, Radiantly Mars. Welcome. I love audiobooks while cleaning. Yeah, see, you can read more books because you can't read while you clean unless you use your ears. And 145 is a very respectable amount. Thank you. Thank you. I tip my top hat to you. Yeah. Do we have thoughts on, like, is it just delusion? Is it just the human tendency to want something? I just heard someone mention that on TikTok. Rather than actually consider, well, my actions are actually prioritizing this, so I must want this more than this other thing that I'm talking about. Elaine, I don't think this is what I'm trying to get at. The question is, what are like the trending things? So this is sort of the opposite. You may be looking for deep dive book reviews, but that is not what people put on as headlines that grab the most attention. That's what kind of I'm making fun of today, the big grabby headlines, and I'm answering all of those questions like that, like Samantha from Bewitched. So the first one, done. Read more books. We all know how to do that now. Excellent. How about this one? I've got several in my watch later list that are about overconsumption. Do you guys see this? Is this just something that's in my feed because of the videos that I watch? Or what? Maybe I'm in a silo. What do you think? I have a couple that I still haven't watched in my watch later list about overconsumption. That is how many come at me each month. And here's the thing, I do have some recommendations. If this is something you don't have in your feed, but you think is an interesting topic, there's a few creators that I follow actually on TikTok, but they do have YouTube channels as well. So I'm going to pop them in here because I think they're great. And just link their channels down here. But basically, if this is unfamiliar, it's most relevant in the American context because our economy depends on people consuming without reflecting on whether they need things or not. That is the economy. That is what people obsess over. And so a little bit of me wrenching back the control is saying, no, you're not going to tell me how to live my life, right? These are not my must-read books. Sorry. Julie's point, these are not my must-read books. You're not going to dictate what I'm going to spend my time on. And so these two channels here, Becca Loveless, who is part of a family, and she's been living a very low consumption life, sort of minimalist, but not in the way you're thinking of, not the minimalist bro way, right? She's got a husband, she's got a couple kids, and they were living in Vancouver, and now they're living in Germany. And she's just done this whole mindset rearrange thing about living with less and like spending time with people more and how to reprioritize that way, which I love. And then the other creator is Vic in the Meadow. And this account, the thing that I love that they do most is things I did this week instead of spending money. And they're all like little rituals or like cute setups or candles or reflection or art projects, stuff like that. So if you are starting to key into the fact that you're buying more than you need and you haven't investigated why that is, I would check out both of these channels. They don't really have the economic overpinnings in their channels, but they do have the micro individual level of how you take back your time, which I love. Yes, Elaine. Well, we're facetiously going for the clickbaity titles and solving the problems of the world today. So hopefully that is entertaining. Hi, Bree. Welcome, welcome. Bree's got a super long reading vlog that is up that looks really fun. What was it? Spices in the kitchen. It looked really fun. So I'll be back to that later. Elaine does not TikTok. You don't have to. I am including YouTube channel links. So most of these have content on YouTube. Hi, Greg. Quitting your job or getting yourself fired. Ha! Solves both topics. Read more books and stop overconsuming. There you go. Just layer it together. There you go. Oh, Bree says I deleted the TikTok app. Yep. Delete the doom scroll apps. That was number 2. So hopefully that means you have time to read more books. But you also have 2 other big things going on, right? The job and the school and all that stuff. So obviously this is a little facetious, but I think they're important topics if you dig down a little bit. So one of the cool things I like about stop overconsuming with the Wild Epiphany. So she's not on YouTube, but I'm going to put her YouTube channel in there anyway, in case people are curious enough. She's got a series, The Wild Epiphany, going that is like a 90s rollback. So if you were alive in the 90s, like I was, you remember that time. You remember like before technology ruled your life. And she basically goes back to that and is like, what did you do when you didn't have a screen to look at all day? And so my advice to stop over consuming is pretend you're a kid in the 90s, or that could be 80s or 70s, depending on what's your golden era in your head, with no money, and entertain yourself with what's around you. You know, you can't say you're bored or your mom will make you do chores. So what do you do? What do you do to entertain yourself? You go find your friends. You chalk on the sidewalk and do hopscotch. You know, there's lots of things. You can decorate, you can craft, you can fold paper into stuff. That's what I did here. I got scratch paper and I thought, how can I make that fun? So I made it into a little garland. I don't know. It just came over me. Play board games, play physical media, meaning stuff that you own rather than streaming. Physical media like CDs and cassettes. You can do it. I just got back on this bandwagon. Go to a park. Parks are free. Dig in the garden. If you have a yard space, garden space you have access to, get your fingers in the dirt, right? Whether it's for a purpose or whether it's just to feel the dirt and feel the grass under your feet. That's good stuff. Search for buried treasure. Now, I've done this multiple times over the years trying to declutter my parents' house. So buried treasure, by which I mean stuff that you didn't know that you still had. In the attic, in the basement, clean it up a little. It could be very serviceable. It could be a gift. You know, search for buried treasure. Connect with people in real life. It's the best thing in the world. Do not create demand for more new stuff. So at the bottom of stop overconsuming is, for me at least, my concern that when we consume new products, we're telling the industries that make those products, make more. I want to buy more. These are solving the problems in my life. And they are not. They are not. The more demand we have for new stuff, the more of Earth's resources we are using up, and the more we are polluting the air and the water. And that's not what we need. We need to go in the other direction. We need to use what we have. There are already so many clothes in the world right now that we never need to make another item of clothing again. Okay? Let that sink in. So vintage shopping, you know, online shopping, if you can do that. I can't do that with like what fits on my body. Thrift stores, you know, like clothing swaps with your friends. There's lots of different ways where you can lower demand for new products so that you get something new, you have fun, you're connecting with people, but you're also not putting more demand on the earth. And that is a big deal. Climathon, big deal. What do we think about this one? Hi, Mike. So Mike's answer to question of the day is why booktubers quit. Oh, see, same as Cat Paw. I missed one. I can't really answer this one. And the rules for reading. That's my last one. You guessed one of mine. Good job. Good job. Cat Boss says, I scroll past clickbait, even if it is a channel I usually enjoy. I may come back and watch in a few months. Interesting. All right. Yes, Bree, doing too much. Well, yeah, overwhelmed. Totally. So, some of these over-consuming pastimes, and I know you have your plants, and hopefully those help mediate the overwhelm for sure. Elaine says, yard work. Yes, digging in the dirt, reading, crafts, listening to music. Those are all awesome. Analog, living in the 90s or whatever decade you prefer to revisit. And Ray says, go for a run. Yes, go write or go read. Yeah, totally. Those are excellent ones to stop overconsuming. Overconsumption, Ray says, not me watching 2 streams at once. Oh, man. That is really funny. Also, I have done, so no shade. Sometimes I'll speed it up so I can go back and forth. So no shade. I get it. What was I gonna say about the move your body? I have move your body in a different thing, but all of these are sort of interchangeable, right? To get more out of life without being sucked into the black hole. Julie says, as a child in the 60s, living on my bike, only coming home for meals, being with my friends, and playing with non-electronic toys. Totally, right? There are still some classics out there that have persisted over time, and those are the toys that are the best. Elaine says, journal, put notes together from reading. So many options, right? I have had years of practice at this, of just being at home and looking at what's around and seeing what needs to be done. And sometimes it's tasks, to-dos that I'm burdened by. But sometimes the spoonful of sugar really does make it go down. You put on music, you put on a podcast, you're just using what you have and enjoying life. So more of that. But I will say, and you know this if you've been on the channel lately, is that I've been trying to get back into connecting with people, which means leaving the house. So I'm trying to get a better balance because I've been too much in the house, isolated. And so, you got to balance it out for healthy boundaries. Ray says, love thrift shopping. Yes, I get into waves. Sometimes I'm really in the mood and I have a big wave and I got lots of good finds and then I'll go months without. So, yep. And then Elaine says, thrift store for books and clothes. Yeah, good. Okay, so that's the overconsuming one. What's the next one I thought of? Ditch the reading slump. I've seen several of these in the last few weeks. Reading slump, how I got out of a reading slump, life slump, whatever. This keyword of slump is I'm feeling like crap. I can't do what I want. How do I get over this? How do I get out of this state? And I think that really speaks to the fact that a lot of us get in this state a lot, which I don't think is our fault. I think it's part of the overconsumption ecosystem. So what can you do to ditch a slump? So I have go outside. So the go for a run, move your body, right? So if you're moving your body, you're shaking it off. I think the slump is sometimes really just manifestation in your body of unused energy. I sat in one place for 4 hours yesterday, staring at a screen, and it sort of messed up the whole day because it's not what I usually do. And it was so immobilizing. And I really had to come back from that, but it took 8 hours. So take that with a grain of salt. It's not scientific, but when you think about if you're not feeling the way you want to feel, actually think about what your body has been doing and maybe how to change that safely. Get good fuel for yourself, right? For your body. So sometimes that's comfort food because then you feel comforted. But sometimes that's something that feels really healthy, like a smoothie, or to me, it's sushi. I did not grow up sushi in the 90s, but when I have it, it somehow feels like jet fuel. I feel so much healthier. I don't know why. Let's see. Fuel, reset your space. So, this was a big reset here with all my shelves. And I periodically move the furniture around, have a different arrangement. Resetting your space not only can change energies outside of your body in your space, but also just create new opportunities, create new possibilities. Oh, Well, if I sit on my couch that way, I'm looking at my shelves, and that's such a nicer view than, I don't know, looking at the garbage can or the bike that I never use. Just thinking about those things, like little changes can actually get you out of a slump because it's just like a little change that will flick a switch. Declutter. So buried treasure alert. Decluttering. For some people, you need clutter to feel, comfortable. And for some people, you need clean spaces to feel at ease. And so whichever person you are, whichever level you're comfortable with, I would say decluttering, it's just like taking stock. It's saying, what do I have that's not working for me? And give it away. Find a better purpose for it. And what do I have that I didn't realize? And oh, now I can use this. Or oh, I haven't used that spoon in a while. I really like that spoon. It makes me happy. Silly things like this. Little micro changes are what I would advocate for. And then the last one is micro steps. These are all things to like shake up the energy. The last one is, well, what do you want to do that you feel like you can't? And how can you take micro steps to that? So I had like 10 months, maybe more, of not working on the manuscript because I was frustrated with it. And I finally was like, I need to do this. If I'm going to do it this year, I need to get on it. Just do 20 minutes. That is not a lot of editing. That is not even enough concentration really to like get much done. But I dipped my toe in. And so giving myself 20 minutes each day where I would look at it eventually evolved into more. And now I'm doing like 5 sessions a week, and I'm different times of the day, not, always great, but I'm getting back into it. So micro steps towards what you want. And you may not know what you want, and you may not know what's small enough to do, but think about those things and they could help you ditch the slump. So what do we think about that one? We left off here. Ray's comment, daily walks helps clear the mind. I totally agree. I average about 3 miles a day. And if I don't get outside, the interior, it's probably air quality. Interior air quality for a new build is not great. So I would advocate this. Totally. Mike says, I agree about slumps. Go outside and look up. Yeah, that's a good point. Also, be realistic. Life is not meant to always be easy. Yes, fair point. Yeah, the slump may not be because you're not doing what you want to be doing. It could be because you're having to be resilient. Having to be resilient sucks when you're in it, right? It's a good quality to have, but it's nice to have done it rather than be in it. Totally get it. Julie agrees too. And Elaine agrees with the be realistic. Sometimes the universe kicks you in the nads. Not a slump, just other priorities need your attention. Right. Yeah. We can sequence what we're doing. We can rotate hobbies. So we can definitely move from one thing to another without it being a slump. That's a good point too. Elaine says, I move around my furniture all the time. The room has to feel right. Exactly. Greg says, I have a difficult time skipping clickbait. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people who clickbait is created for. I have to ditch the doom scroll apps. Interesting. Yeah. It's interesting to do maybe a survey of people, like when you see a clickbait title, does it succeed because it's using the tactics that are working on the general populace, or does it piss you off and so you reject it? You run the other way because some of us, not mentioning names of the zodiac here, tend to run the other way. Elaine says, organized chaos rules. All right. And Mike, I love this quote. A clean desk is the sign of an empty mind. Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's stacked neatly with books, that is not a clutter desk. I don't think that applies at all. So, you're scot-free. Greg says, understanding my limits and my triggers helps. Being conscious of what I'm doing. It's not easy by any means. Small steps are still steps. Yes, and I'm going to call it micro just to make people feel better about it. Capo says, I've been known to say that, Mike, the clean desk quote. Yeah, it's a good one. Oh boy. I think this is tongue in cheek. My new video is coming soon, says Greg. Top 10 ways to stop doom scrolling. Number 7 will blow your mind. Exactly. Watch till the end. Yeah. Lots of inspiration laying around. Yeah, That again, your level of clutter may vary, but it's whatever you're comfortable with and whatever allows you to both gain inspiration for your creative pursuits and execute, right? Execute those pursuits. Sometimes it's a balance between those two, or a struggle between those two. What do I have next? Ditch the slump. Number 4 is stop the brain rot. Okay, so this is a new phrase to me. There's bed rotting, and that's kind of had its day and gone away. But brain rot is still a thing on YouTube, and I still get videos about brain rot. Now, my understanding of this term may be different from younger generations, but my understanding of brain rot is kind of what Brian was talking about with his video about shallow reading. And I'll get to the response to Brian's video next. But brain rot. Well, let's just jump into my advice, and then that will illustrate what I think it is. Sorry, I didn't have a definition ready for this one. Stop your brain rot. Read more books. Hey, let's go back to the first one. Okay, so the definition I can return to now. Brain rot is when your brain has ceased to think on its own. There's a really great Edith Wharton quote that refers, it's a character who's thinking about another type of person. And the character says, interior dialogue, they said, he was the kind of person who liked their brain food cut up for them. And that is stuck in my mind. I've got these quotes that I wrote out in high school. I put that quote on a piece of paper. It's filed away for the moment, but occasionally I bring it out. That's what this term means to me. Like, at a dining room table, once you're over a certain age and you don't have, motor skill issues, you should not have your food cut up for you. You should be able to do that on your own and consume your food, right? This is something we all go through and learn how to do in life. And so the metaphor of having your brain food cut up for you is like, you want someone else to process your thoughts and tell you what to think. No, thank you. The way to stop your brain from rotting like this is to think for it yourself. Well, how do you do that? You read more books. That is my answer for a lot of things. You read books on a range of subjects, and I think that is important. I call myself an eclectic reader. There are definitely genres that I've tried and I didn't particularly feel an affinity with, let's say, but I have tried a lot. And I think if you don't try a range to know what you feel about it, you're just taking someone else's word for it. And if you take someone else's word for something for a long time, you may never know something that you actually love. How lame would that be if you went through life missing something really cool because you just believed what someone else told you? Like, that's why you want to live life for yourself. Stop your brain rot by try new hobbies. I may be an outlier for this, but I think a lot of my friends on Booktube are similar in that you got a lot of hobbies. You may have a hobby graveyard. I think someone used this phrase recently and I thought it was funny, meaning you've gone through lots of hobbies. You got the equipment for all those hobbies and now they just sit in your garage. Like, valid. But you got to take stock. You got to realize, am I going to go back to doing that? It depends on your habits. It depends on your garage space, frankly. You might. And then why would you give it away, right? You can share that equipment. That's one way to deal with a hobby graveyard. But some of my hobbies, I wrote out a list. They don't take equipment. So it's a matter of rotating between them. I wrote out a whole list. It was as long as this, and I had just one column going down. And I thought, how can I do all of these all the time? Because, you want to get better at something or, hone up a skill, I guess. And then I was like, I don't need to do all of them all the time. That's going to make me crazy. So, I dance when the spirit moves me. And I speak French every other Saturday at the language meetup. And I walk every day. So that's an everyday one. I read every day. I write every day in my journal. Cooking, besides heating up leftovers, that's like a few times a week, And so just trying these new hobbies throughout my life, I've got a great list. I've got a great toolbox of hobbies. And I don't think Some people may differ. I don't think I have this issue to worry about. Maybe the issue is something that you can't see from inside. And so, it's one of these, you got to be confronted with a mirror type things. And in that case, if you're not feeling yourself, that you're like in a slump and your brain is rotting, maybe the reading more books as a general prescription is what will key you into that there's more to life, that you might want to question. Try new hobbies, try new routines. What do you do in the morning? What do you do in the afternoon? What do you do in the evening? Try new groups, a meetup group, a strong towns group, a neighborhood association, emergency neighborhood team, whatever that I joined. Like I said, I'm trying to stay at home less and get involved with people in real life more, and this is part of that. Try new foods. I mean, we have a lot of options for food now. So, allergies and intolerances aside, try new foods. Like there's so many different cultures with rich traditions. It shakes up your energy, but it also makes you curious about a different culture, a different cooking technique, maybe. Maybe that's your thing. Okay, so read more books, try new things, reflect. That's another part of stopping the brain rot. I reflect, I journal, therapy. Therapy is a really good one for reflecting. Gab with friends. You can work out issues when you're gabbing with your friends at brunch, or when you're talking with your bros on the golf course. That's a reach, but whatever. And another way to reflect is alone when you meditate. So there's lots of different options, right? Journal is alone, meditate is alone, but they're very different feelings. Talking with your friends or talking to a therapist, both group working out of feelings and experiences, but very different dynamic, let's say. So lots of ways to reflect and like suck the marrow out of life. Like you're not just skating through it because you know everything. You haven't been here before. Well, unless you're reincarnated, but you need to learn things, right? That's what life is about, in my opinion. So those are my proffered opinions. And there's more. Establish boundaries and accountability if necessary. So this is like for brain rot. If you are doom scrolling and it's like taking over your life, establish boundaries and accountability if necessary. So if you have bad habits that are degrading your quality of life and you want to get over them, have a buddy check-in, have a co-working session, have a body doubling session, something where you're reaching out and letting people help you, ask for help. That's part of establishing community. Realize that money doesn't solve everything and find other solutions. So this kind of gets back to overconsumption. These are all related in our terrible ecosystem. Your brain is rotting because you're being told if you spend more money on XYZ, it will solve your problems. Well, that is not true. It's not true. So find other solutions. Go out, connect with people, get in the sunshine or rain. They're both great. And then the last thing I have for stop the brain rot. Do not use generative AI for stupid shit. And you know what I mean. You've seen the AI slop. You've seen the headlines about the terrible writing, the videos, the memes. It's a waste of art, if you want to call that art. It's also a waste of time preparing it, and therefore a waste of time, a waste of resources, a waste of water, a waste of electricity, a waste of other people subsidizing those activities when people's utility bills go up to pay for the data center that is housing your cloud hosted generative AI. So I feel strongly about this, and so just passing that around. The more you use generative AI, studies have come out, the less you think for yourself. So just putting that out there. This phrase is very popular, but it does scratch the surface. It does go pretty deep. Okay, what do we think about that? Let's see. Okay, we started here. Hi, Laura. Laura's a fellow author, but if I cull the rot from my brain, what is left? As a horror author says, well, I think you've got plenty creativity in there left over, so don't worry. Mike says, I agree. Clickbait makes me angry, so I reject it. But there's more and more slop and less reliable content. At my age, I am hyper aware of people wasting my precious time. Right. Yeah, that's totally fair. Cat Paw says, same. Laura says, I've actively clicked the dislike and unsubscribe from author tubers when they clickbait me. I may have done this, especially to bigger channels. Sometimes to smaller, medium channels, but definitely to bigger channels when they do this. I'm just like, you're trying to play me. Like, get away from me with that energy. Yeah. Laura says, AKA, I'm giving up was just DNFing reading a book. Yeah. It's giving drama. Look at me. Totally. It's giving. What's the Anne of Green Gables reference I'm searching for? Something pie. Josie Pie. It's Josie Pie energy. Get thee away from me, Satan, or Josie. Elaine says, riff raff reads, same. I refuse to have my time wasted. Offer me something of value or I am on my way. Yeah. Julie says he was the kind of person who liked their brain food cut up for them. Edith Wharton. It may have been they. I don't remember the exact quote, but that was definitely like the sentiment. Mike says, first rule of life, don't outsource your thinking to others. It's your responsibility. Yes, exactly. Whose rule of life is that? That's a good one. That's well put. Julie says, yes to diversifying my reading. The result, I'm learning so much. Yeah, the read more books one. Exactly. Yeah. And, the resistance to that I have experienced and pushed through is not understanding. And Leslie knows what I'm talking about if Leslie comes in later. But we've both talked about being in over our heads and not understanding what's going on in a novel. I think, to Mike's readathon point of Read the Beloved Countries project about South African literature, it's going to be harder for someone in America to understand the undercurrents and the themes and the, positioning that's going on in those novels. And so that's sort of hard to appreciate as much, but reading it and then being able to get a little bit, it gets you that little bit further. In my opinion, that's worth it. Elaine, stop, think, and ask questions. Refuse to be spoon-fed information. I was going to say stop and look around. Do. In terms of being analog and living like you're in the 90s. Actually, that's earlier, right? Isn't that like a 60s or 70s song? Roy, hello. Roy Reads Anything says, finding new to me books and genres is one reason I love Booktube. Jumping around keeps my reading supple and alive. Excellent. You have a lot of great Victober and like 19th century focus. I think your library may be focused on that, but it's nice to also experiment when you're in a community that has lots of different interests for you to pick from and pick and choose and have buddy reads. That's the great part about it. Elaine says, I read fiction for entertainment. I read nonfiction for learning, personal development, and make me think and ponder. Yeah, pondering is good. Reflecting is good. Greg says, body doubling. I don't know what that means in this context. So this is a new to me term like last year. Basically, when you say reading sprint or writing sprint, you're body doubling because you have a body on the other side of the screen that is doubling what you're doing. You're just doing the same activity together, not in the same space. And so it's accountability partners. Mike says, on the overconsumption point, reading is the cheapest per hour of any hobby, sport, or entertainment. I mean, you do have to buy books. So dancing might be cheaper because, you just got to dance around. You do need music. Well, sometimes people don't even need music. They got it in their heads. Oh, your father's rule. That's great. That's cool. Okay. 2 more. All right. Here's the other type of video I see. A response. And this kind of makes me roll my eyes, right? A lot of people, and again, this doesn't apply to me because I am never on the trigger fast enough. I never react quickly enough to videos to like be in the conversation. I will process things and come back weeks later. Tags appear months later. You guys know. So when people all do this like within a day, within 2 days, and like the whole conversation happens in 5 days, and then it's sort of like spent, um, a lot of people like reference the earlier video and they say a response to da 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 da. And I like that it's like garnering conversation and people talking about a thing. I think it might be even better if you were like on the screen together talking, but people have a video that they put out and then they talk to people in the comments. That makes sense. Um I don't know. I don't know. I don't make these because it's too fast for me. But here's one that I said, "Ooh, I want to respond to this." And I think it was a month ago. So, this is Brian's video. Oh, and I forgot to put in the links that I was going to put. So for the Slump, there's a really cool creator named Ali Nasser, and she has a beautiful channel that's like calm, beautiful, her house candles, just like quiet, great music. And yeah, it's a good one for ending the slump. And then the Wild Epiphany is more of a TikTok one, but if you do have TikTok access, she's great for like the living in the 90s moments, and what to do to entertain yourself if you're not used to it, if you're out of the habit. And then here I've got Brian's video. So this is the one I'm responding to. He basically did what I'm doing now, right? So I have like 6 different items where they're clickbaity titles. They're things that I keep saying over and over again. And I think it's silly to use these as clickbait. So I'm just going to all lump them together because they're all related. And my response and my tips are all related. So the response, this is how I noted this when I was watching Brian's video. He talked about anti-intellectualism. Now you may know I have a whole month dedicated to combating anti-intellectualism. It's called Agitation August, and it's when we get people to talk about books that transform their thinking about a topic. Hopefully I get to read it ahead of time and we discuss on my channel and we talk about like what it changed for them and why it was such an impactful read. And that is digging deep into a book, right? Brian was trying to parse the difference between anti-intellectualism, which is a political trend, I would say, of skewering or prejudicing people against intellectual pursuits. So cutting funding from academia, or putting down people who are going after higher degrees, or saying you don't need that, or that's a waste of time, or they're studying lizard stomachs in the rainforest or whatever. Who thinks that's going to matter? Oh, you mean it's going to be a cancer treatment in 15 years that we could really need? That's the sort of thing. Like, you need to be curious. You need to support efforts that are trying to learn about our world, in my opinion. And putting that down and poo-pooing it is anti-intellectualism to me. So like cutting funding, gosh, can't imagine where that's happening these days. But being shallow is what a lot of people on Booktube talk about as anti-intellectualism. So when I talk about Agitation August, it's diving into books, it's getting into discussions about how you come to opinions and what it relates to and what it made you think about in your own life, right? That's like diving in. And what Brian was saying is that a lot of Booktube is criticizing some people who are being shallow about books, and are not using critical thinking. So I think critical thinking is sort of like a middle step between being shallow about a topic and being like deep dive intellectual about a topic. So I don't know if that makes sense. I think it does, but let me know if I need to explain it a bit more. So that I thought was really important. He talked about literacy as a teacher, which agreed with. He talked about publishing and romantasy. And he said that the romantasy poo-pooing, for lack of a better word, was mainly due to editing like skipping budgeting for editors, and I don't think that's entirely true. I don't think that's what you can chalk it up to. I think, well, I mean, there's the publishing choices as one thing, but then there's the publishing output, and so that's what I'm sort of addressing here. The amount of formulaic books that satisfy a certain market, I think, is influenced by AI. It's early, but I think it's influenced by AI in ideas, in editing, in the way that people accept manuscripts because they think the AI will be better at judging a winner. And we're all trying to pick winners because we're all trying to make money. That's what posting should be about, right? And I just watched a really great, I should have gotten this link ready, a really great video by Josh Johnson. He's a comedian. He's great. He's become really popular in the last couple of years. The one he put out from Aspen, Colorado today has a few pieces in it that are about why people should do art, because he's talking about Timothée Chalamet. And, how people doing art gets mixed up with people making money and what our vision of success in arts is. I was like, wow, I just talked about that to my therapist. So that was a timely thought there. And I would just say that we need to separate those. We need to think about it, reflect, make our success and our goals about more than money. But I think publishing does not have that luxury, does not have that attitude, let's say, because it's a monopolistic environment for the most part. All right. Brian also covered authors being required to do social media and being uncomfortable doing it. Yeah, you gotta find your niche. That's coming up under my rules. And AI data centers, which I've already touched on. And you know what else I talked about? The Epstein files, because they still matter and people are still not being held accountable. So I'm just gonna put that in here as a reminder. All right, so that's my response to Brian, because I promised him one, and I thought, hey, maybe I'll try doing a response. Final one is rules, but before I go off here, let me catch up. So Mike says, I'm guilty of doing. It's not a guilt thing. It's just that I don't participate in it. So I just think it's kind of funny. I don't have a problem as long as the content moves the discussion forward. Yeah. I've got my links to put in there. And Mike says, occasionally I'm invited to respond. This Friday, I'm releasing a response to Allison Talks Books video at her invitation about Ryan Holiday's 26 rules for reading. Buckle in. Okay, so the 26 rules things is months old at this point, right? I looked back at it when I was going to do my next and last section about rules. And I was like, these are way too many rules. They were all like mostly fine. And I've seen a lot of people that have gone over them and made their own, and like not necessarily gone through all 26, but sort of taken the ones that they wanted to argue with or the ones that they agreed with, just different approaches. But that to me is a little, not the response part, but the 26 rules. I don't know why it blew up. Is it something someone does because they know it'll get a rise out of people? Because saying that my way is or the highway is going to get a rise out of people? Or did he not know that? I don't know. Kappa says, a response is basically why I stopped blogging. The response is expected within 24 hours or the world has moved on to something else. And I want a couple of days to digest and ponder before I respond. Wow. 24 hours. Yeah. Well, that kind of jives with the understanding of the 24-hour news cycle, meaning every day there's something new and we're flooded with more information than we can handle. So we can't juggle different things for different lengths. And I wish that wasn't how we processed information. There is a lot of stuff going on in the world, but we don't need to know the level of detail or the repetition that we have about some things that we have. So I think we agree on that. Elaine says, so this is an awesome month to so many amazing guests and books. Yeah, Agitation August. And Mike says, anti-intellectualism is directly linked to clickbait 30-second shorts, 128 character limits. That's on Twitter, not TikTok. All ways to dumb us down. Sheep are easier to lead. Oh my God. I have a great postcard. It's a cartoon from someone in French, but there's like a bunch of sheep, and in the background and in the foreground on like a hilltop, there's one sheep that's telling another, I'm telling you, we can be free if we just go the other way. Something like that. It's really funny. Yeah. Let's see. Directly linked to clickbait. See, but I think this is what Brian is saying. It's not the same thing. So clickbait is encouraging shallow trigger responses, right? So I think, and Brian hopefully will watch this and weigh in, but I think what he's saying is shallow responses and lack of critical thinking is not the same as anti-intellectualism, because anti-intellectualists are the ones who want that to happen, but you have to engage in other behavior, like attacking academia or taking funding out of research grants, or other examples, because they're not attacking intellectualism, they're just not aware of it. They're not allowing it in their space. The 30-second shorts, the character limits. Yeah, that's my understanding. So we'll see if he weighs in. I scored him 13 out of 26, so 50%. Ooh, that's an F. Elaine says, when did weekly updates become a thing instead of monthly wrap-ups? I have too many channels to keep up with that. Sorry, time management for me. That may depend on how long you want your videos and how much you can remember about a book when time passes. I used to do monthly wrap-ups, and then I switched to every 2 weeks because monthly wrap-ups are too many books and I don't remember all the details, and then I'm just like shoving out small things and I don't have time to go over the books that I really enjoyed more in depth. So every 2 weeks works for me. And Mike says, to cat paw, my video production process takes more than 24 hours. Yeah. Yeah. So cat paw's talking about blogging, which is just the text. So, some people might be able to ponder and spit back within 24 hours, but others of us cannot. And don't think it's like responsible to do so. So a response. And then finally, my rules for reading, because we had to get there, right? My rules are going to be correct. Let's see. I've got number 1, find your format. I didn't mention the library yet. Okay, find your format. And I should have put this under consumption, but I didn't make a note. The library, right? Apps in the library, apps on your phone. Other ways to get free books, ebooks, audiobooks, physical books, etc. Find your format that you enjoy. That will help you read more books. Number 2, find your procurement source. Do you like a certain bookstore? Do you like a used bookstore? Do you like a certain library? Do you get together for book swaps with your friends every month? Do you spend time on Booktube? Do you pass books back and forth among your family members? There's lots of different ways to procure books, and that can influence how many books you read and how much you enjoy them. How much you enjoy them. What I mean by that is how many books you can enjoy, I suppose, because if you are limited by your budget, you can't all buy them, then you could just go to the library and find that extension of your budget. Choose a book. Choose one. Finish one. You do have to finish some books, but they need not be the same book. So I am a champion of reading multiple books at once. Choose one, finish one. Can be different books. I'm not a stickler on that. Reflect, however you like to do that, whether it's spitting it out live in a wrap-up, whether it's talking about it with a friend, whether it's writing a super long review on Goodreads, whether it's using StarGraph and just doing their tick boxes and a star rating. Reflect on what you read so that you have critical thinking capacities that are being exercised regularly. and then repeat. So that's not bad, right? Simple rules for reading. Find your format, find your procurement source, choose one, finish one, reflect, repeat. There we go. Okay, how did that land for anybody? Agree, disagree? Let's see. Ray says, I'm at 8 books this year. I wasn't able to read much in February, but still. That's awesome. This was in response to a minute ago. Procurement source? Well, whatever it is. Yay. And I hope they're bringing joy, right? They're bringing curiosity, they're bringing learning, they're bringing relating to other people and joy, because like that's everything you can get out of books. So I hope that's there. Yes. I like your rolls. Thank you. 6 out of 6, 100%. Awesome. All right. Awesome. Elaine says, lol, my to finish reading list is currently at 50 plus. Yes, I keep starting and finishing other books. Yeah, I mean, I have soft DNFs that I don't really track. Right now I have like a stack of 8, I think. Am I going to put pause on those in Storygraph? Am I just going to put them in a pile on the side of the bookcase? I don't know. I tend to think those just go back on the shelf. And if I come up against them in the future, I'll just say I started it again, because I will have to start it again because I won't remember the book in like months from now. So I don't know. That's how I roll. Greg says, I always read more when I'm using multiple formats, printed on paper, ebooks, audiobooks. Though through trial and error, I've figured out what works best for me in each format. Yeah, trial and error. Learning through life. Let's do it. So yeah. Okay, well that's my response. What else did I have? Yeah, I better not name names if I'm gonna like call out the clickbait stuff. I had one that just like triggered me yesterday. I may do another video about that one, who knows, but it'll probably be months from now, so probably won't remember who it was at that point. That's fine. Oh, thank you. This blouse was a gift from the Queen of America. No, we're not doing Three Musketeers quotes. This blouse was a thrift purchase when I was in Denmark in 2016. Make your clothes last, people. I love it. So yeah, thank you. Ray said the same thing. Yeah, it's just like a blouse I got traveling, and it's like super thin, so easy to pack in a suitcase. Yeah. Thank you, Elaine. So that is us for today. And thank you for joining. I know some of this was a little facetious, a little tongue-in-cheek. But you know, hopefully we came out with like similar values, because that's what this channel is for. I'm an author of historical fiction and an eclectic reader, and I'm just out to... Oh, I forgot to talk about the last shout out with my rules. Here it is. It's Heather's video today. Okay, so Heather reads, if you don't know her channel, she did a great video today about cults and how YouTube is sort of, to her, like a cult behavior. And so she's very careful not to engage with the clickbait triggers that are trying to produce cult-like behavior. It's a great video. You should definitely watch it. Her main point is that when you want to join to be part of a community, cults are very good at welcoming you in. But as soon as you are in, they make you feel inadequate so that you pursue the goals they want you to pursue. Now, in cults, it's probably like spending money or giving your labor for free. On YouTube, it's watching for advertising dollars. So they want your eyeballs. And very well argued. And she had like lots of interesting things to say about that. So yeah, Mike saw it. Very good. And I think my rules would skirt around that. Like, you're reading books, you're reflecting, and however you want to do that. Doesn't require joining the cult. But I loved this, so I thought I'd drop this in there as well. But yeah, so that's the channel. That's what I'm hoping that you got out of this. Diversify that reading list, and I will see you on Friday. And because I am not in the YouTube booktube cult, I don't know what the topic is going to be on Friday. I'm going to let inspiration strike between now and then. Woohoo! We like flying by the seat of our pants in authorship and in life. All right, everyone.